listen to anything music, but you know, we're always drawing storyboards as well, or we're always doing a lot of design, so I don't know, we listen to everything. Like I'm a big White Stripes fan.
Yeah.
Or sometimes throwing the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. Or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Depends on the mood, so it's a wide range of stuff.
Yeah, I also can't write to music. I have to keep it silent, but yeah, I don't know. I have like 3 weeks of music on my iPod or something. I don't know. I love Nico Case. And
Yeah.
it's my favorite. But I mean, for the show, you know, there were definitely times when we talked about other scores or other pieces of world music, especially because Avatar was sort of a worldly show. I know we definitely talked about, for like episode 113, Blue Spirit, we really referenced Peter Gabriel's score, Last Temptation of Christ, and for the percussion and the odd time signatures and stuff. And Jeremy, I thought, did a beautiful job at interpreting that note. So I mean, there, you know, in certain instances there was a direct thing we were going after, and then by the finale, I mean, Jeremy was doing these, you're going to have to throw out the exact terms, but these like note clusters of like microtones and all this crazy stuff that he used to apply to the right.
Too nerdy.
It's just too nerdy. I'm just to impress you, I'm trying to throw out nerdy terminology. No, it was really neat, but I mean, that was, I knew enough that, you know, Mike and I could relate to what he had in mind, and we let him go for it. And it was not your typical cartoon score.
It was actually really amazing being able to do some things that were pretty esoteric or pretty subtle, and these guys appreciating and understanding what's going on instead of just being like, you know, just sort of reducing it to scary or horror music or something like that. That was really sweet bonus.
I know a lot of you have heard this answer before, but Hayao Miyazaki is, you know, at least in relation to Avatar, was our seminal moment of like seeing a filmmaker who made animated movies that weren't just for kids, and they could be epic, they could be sad and scary and magical and kind of encompass all the emotions. So that was certainly the big one as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, I have Miyazaki for Avatar, but yeah, I think in terms of getting into creating animation, it was Ren and Stimpy and Batman, the animated series.
Nice.
I think those formative years, you know, when you're kind of coming out of childhood and those things came out into adolescence, and you start to realize like you could do this for a career, and this was something you could pursue, and yeah, those two really kicked it off. And then just, like, not that my music is why I'm up here, but Peter Gabriel, and just how he embraces art, not just like hiring artists to interpret his songs, you know, for the visual art, for the album sleeves, and just seeing, Ben and I saw a show in the early days of Avatar, and it just inspired me, and I realized no matter what I do in life, it has to be art, and it has to be for art's sake, and definitely he's a huge inspiration for that for me.
This is an incredibly hard question for some reason for me, but the first thing artistic that I was ever into was photography, and that was in high school, and that was the first. That was my first sense that art is what I really liked to do with my time, myself, and sort of what I found interesting in the world. So my first love was photography, and after that, I got into sort of weird hip-hop electronic music like DJ Shadow or DJ Crowd.
Nice.
And yeah, I don't know. Somehow I'm right here, so there you go.
Yeah, I have a pretty indirect route to this too. Let's see. I got really into guitar when I was about 11, and I first heard I heard Sabbath, and I heard Hendrix around the same time, and I was sold. So I just started playing guitar a lot and got in bands and played metal and all that stuff. And then I didn't really know what I wanted to do after that, because at some point I wanted, a different emotion than anger. And I sort of got into sort of avant-garde computer music, and I'm going to say someone's name here, and if someone knows this guy, shout out, because probably no one in this room knows him. Trevor Wishart. Not one person. This guy's a genius, so let's seek him out if you want to hear something crazy. But anyway, he wrote this book called On Sonic Art, and that coupled with his music sort of blew my mind. And I got very deeply into computer music, and somehow I started doing commercials and doing coming back full circle sort of. So now, I listen to composers like Takamitsu, Xenakis, Mahler, of course, Ravel. Film composers I like right now. Actually, while I was doing Avatar, I was watching a lot of Battlestar Galactica. And Seth Harris' score was awesome. Giacchino did really cool stuff in Lost. There's a lot of talented people. Cliff Martinez, we both really like Cliff Martinez. Solaris. Lots of stuff.